Hello everybody, welcome to my log. Oh my god. So this log is all about this idea. It is my Morse code light bulbs. My plan was to make 3 Morse code lights. I would like to make more, but it's quite expensive to do. So at the moment we do 3. It was all inspired from letters that I wrote to past loves that turned into hates. Maybe hate's a strong word, but it was me splurging on a page. Originally I wrote the letters and then I decided that I wanted to make them into Morse code. So I did some research into the history of Morse code, and I found out that in Morse code transmission, the short dot signal is the basic time measurement. A long dash signal is equal to 3 dots, and each dot or dash is followed by a short silence that's equal to a dot. It took me a while to get my head around it, but I wanted to understand it. I didn't want to just implement it within the work and just use it. I wanted to understand it because in a funny sort of way, I needed to understand the language, generally the basics of it, in order for it to take away the understanding of the work itself. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I feel as to why I needed to understand it. And I hand changed the text into dashes and dots. That was something that was quite integral to the making of this piece, because I was breaking down situations into a letter, and then I was breaking those letters down into words, and then I was breaking those words down into individual letters, and then I was breaking those individual letters down to a completely different language that I didn't understand. And I really liked it because it took away those initial feelings and condensed them into something that if I look at, I can't read. So I can't feel that. I can't feel that pain or anger or frustration that I felt when I put it originally on the page in English. To me now it's meaningless. So then it was coding, and this is the code that I used for all of them. I used 1 Arduino per light. In this code you can see I defined the timescale of the dots and dashes, at the space between the characters and the space between words. I then wrote the function for what a dot is and what a dash is, and then I separated them off into all the different letters and defined what all of the letters were in Morse code. And then underneath you can see these are all my letters. I put them all on 1 Arduino just so I had a safe record, but then I have 1 code for each. Okay, so I can actually show you how I put it together this way, because I have to put it back together again to document it again better. So the first thing that I did was I bought one of these light bulb holders. I don't know what the actual technical name is. And I screwed in, I don't know if I can take this off, yeah. I wired it myself to 3 meters of wire that I got from the electronics shop. Let's see if we can get it back on again. Ooh. I think I've broken it, that's great. And then bought a light bulb and bish bash bosh. It's not so bish bash bosh, it's not going back together again, that's fun. I shouldn't have taken it apart. Okay, the electronics are all connected, so that's the most... I'm scared this isn't going to work now because I've broken my light thing. Ugh! The thing is, as soon as it goes too far, it starts popping this. Oh, it's cracked, that's why. Oh shit, okay. Okay, everything's going tits up. Why? It's righty-tighty. We've made a grave error here, people. We've made a grave error. Okay. We're just going to tape it. We're just going to tape it. It's not an issue. It's not an issue. Is it an issue? I don't know. Cool. It's not electric tape, but it'll tape it together. So just know that for this documentation process, this is broken. And normally you won't have some blue random tape. I just hope all the electronics are touching. That's my main thing that I hope. So, yes, after a long slog, there's this. And then at the bottom of the 3 meter long cable, there is, I also wired a plug socket and interrupted. I opened the cord. Let's see if I can get some, yeah, there we go. Open the cord. This is where I interrupted the signal with a 5-volt relay. And then these cords go into the Arduino, which I will do now. So after all that faff, the next thing I do is I've uploaded the code to this Arduino, plug it in, and there's a light there. And then I need to plug in the light into another power socket. So I plug that in. And then I put the yellow pin into the 5 volts, the green pin into ground, and the 2 pin has the blue pin. And here we have it. The Morse code is working. And then I just use the same method for the other 2 as well, and then put them all together. So once I'd finished making it, I realised that I had no idea how I wanted to structure it anymore, if I wanted it within an installation context, if I want them as individual lights, how I want them to be hung. Originally, I just wanted them to be hung really low, but I wasn't even sure if that's how I wanted them anymore. So I did some research on this book, which was all about lights being used in art, and just looked at all the different ways possible that people have used light in art to see if there's some kind of formation that inspires me or something like that. And after letting everything settle in my head for a week or so, I sat down and thought of all the different ways in which I could incorporate these lights and what the connotations would be if I hung them in a certain way, if they would be together, if they would be far away. As you can see, I've thought about having them with lampshades, I've thought about having them covered, I've thought about having them covered but with holes so only little specks of light come through. I've thought about them being just hung just enough in some form of liquid. I've thought about turning them into a very expensive mirror, behind curtains, stacked on top of each other, following the shapes of other objects, bent around, everything. And at this point, I still have no idea what I want to do with them. So, as you can see, one of the bulbs didn't work, which is really annoying. It's the one that I broke. So, one of them sort of stops and starts drawing the clips, which is fine. But I'm gonna try, I think, hanging them for my feedback sessions. I'll just have to remake the other one. And yeah, I hope that this was decent, and I hope that it gave you a good enough understanding of what I was going for with this piece. And it's not finished yet, as nothing is at the moment. But yeah, I'll just keep on adding to this or create new videos as it progresses. So let's see what happens.